Hello all, I welcome you for the session. So the contents of today's session are Introduction to Structured Query Language, Data Types in SQL, Database Languages like Data Definition Language, Data Manipulation Language, Data Control Language and Transaction Control Language. Basic query formats of database languages. So let's start with Structured Query Language. SQL is an open source domain specific language which is developed to communicate with the relational databases. Domain specific means it is developed to work with the specific domain, like it is developed to work with relational databases. By using SQL, we can communicate with relational databases only. For example, MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server and PostgreSQL. It is an open source query language. It is mainly used to work with a structured type of data. Now what is structured data? The structured data is a data which is organized by using some predefined structure. For example, in relational database, we store data into a table. Table is a collection of rows and columns. Means whatever data we store in relational database, those data items are called as structured data because they are organized by using a predefined table structure. Then SQL is not a case sensitive language, but in routine practice we follow the rule that write all keyword in SQL in capital letter and write all user defined values in small letters, so that our SQL command will become readable. Data types and syntax in SQL, they may vary from vendor to vendor. Means the data types or syntax we use for MySQL may be slightly different than the data type and syntax used in Oracle, SQL Server or PostgreSQL. There may be a slight difference. For example, the difference between range of data types or the difference between some syntax of command to create database or to insert values into database. There may be a slight difference, but the purpose of commands or the type of data that all data types hold will be the same for all database tools. Then SQL is a highly scalable and flexible language. Highly scalable means by using structured query language command, we can create the number of tables as per our requirement, or we can delete tables, means we can modify the structure of database as per our requirement. We can increase or decrease the size of database as per user requirement. And it is flexible means that SQL commands or SQL queries can be written to fulfill the requirements of user. Whatever is the requirement of user, we can write command to fulfill that requirement. That's why it is called as flexible query language. Then SQL can handle number of concurrent transactions. As we know, in computer system, multiple transactions or multiple processes can be executed at the same time. If one database is there and if number of users want to access those that particular database at the same time, then SQL has the capability to control all these concurrent accesses. SQL has a command to control all these concurrent accesses without any conflict. And SQL is also capable to manage the heavy workload. That is, heavy number of read and write commands can be easily managed by using structured query language. It provides higher security through various authorization permissions. By using SQL, we can give permission, means it consists of number of commands to give permission to the user. By using SQL command, we can give authorization to the user to access the database. Okay, so through these authorization rules, through this authorization constraint, security can be maintained on any database system. This SQL can work for small or large organization. Means by using structured query language, we can create a database management system for smaller organization as well as for larger organization. So these are some of the features of structured query language. Now next is data types. Data types in SQL. As we know, data type is used to indicate the type of data which is stored by a particular variable. For example, if we declare a variable like character A, then A is a variable which can hold character type of data. So this is the importance of data type. In SQL, data type is mainly categorized into these categories given here: numeric data type, character data type, date and time data type. Numeric data type is used to hold all types of numeric data like integer type of data, fixed point values, or numeric data type can be used to hold floating point values also. Then second category is character data type. Using character data type, we can store character or we can store strings also. Then date and time data type. Using these type of data types like date time or timestamp, using these data types we can store date and time values into the database. Now come to the database languages. As we know, by using any programming language or by using any query language, we can communicate with the system. This database language is used to provide an interface to connect with the system. By using this language command, we can access data from the system, we can store data into the database, and we can perform number of operations on the database. So, database languages are broadly categorized into 4 categories: DDL, that is data definition language; DML, that is data manipulation language; DCL is a data control language; and TCL is a transaction control language. So here in PPT you can see that below each of the language I have enlisted all type of commands. Okay, so in DDL we have create command, alter command, drop, truncate and rename. For DML we have select, insert, update, delete and lock command. In DCL we have grant and revoke command. In TCL 2 commands are there: commit and rollback. Means all these commands falls under the category of that particular language. So now we'll see the explanation of each of the languages. First is data definition language, that is DDL. DDL is mainly used to create a database schema. What is schema? Schema is the overall structure of database. So DDL is simply used to create a skeleton of database. It is used to create a structure of database. By using DDL, you can create table, schema, index or constraint. That is, you can give different permissions to the user. Then the commands in DDL are: first is create command. It is used to create objects in the database. Means by using create command, we can create table or index or we can create view. Then alter command. As name suggests, alter command is used to alter, means it is used to change the structure of database. Means you can add new column into the database, you can delete existing column, or you can modify existing column from the database. So this is the importance of alter command. Then next is drop table. Drop command is used to delete object from the database. By using drop command, we can delete table or we can delete view from the database. Then truncate command is there. Using truncate command as given here, we can remove all record from the table. Okay. So now let's see what is the difference between drop and truncate. When we say drop command is used to delete object, it means that using drop command, it will delete data as well as structure of that object. But when we use or when we execute truncate command, it will delete only data from the object. It will not delete the skeleton. It will not delete the structure of object. For example, if you want to delete rows from the student table, then you can use truncate command. It will delete the rows, it will delete all the tuples of student table, but it will keep the structure of student table as it is in a memory. But if you drop that table from the memory, if you execute drop command on that particular table, then it will delete all rows plus it will delete the structure of table from the memory. So this is the main difference between drop and truncate. Then next is rename. Rename is also a data definition language command. It is used to rename the object. Means by using rename command, we can change the name of table, view or any column. So these 5 are the commands by using which we can alter the structure of database system. That's why they are called as data definition language commands. Then next is data manipulation language. As name suggests, data manipulation language is used to manipulate data stored in a database. Manipulate means to access data from database, to insert data, to update data or delete data from the database system. So here some commands are given, DML commands are given here. First is select command. By using select command, we can retrieve data from the database system. Means we can read data from the database. Insert command is used to insert data into the table. Update command is used to update data in a table. Means update command is used to change the values of data into the table. Delete command is used to delete all record from the table. And lock table command is used to control concurrent access by locking table. It means that when number of processes or number of users are accessing single database at the same time, then to avoid the conflict between the execution of transaction, SQL has a command to log a table for one transaction only. So it will log the table for one transaction, and after the completion of that transaction, it will release that log and that table will be accessible to any other transaction. So this is how concurrency can be maintained by using lock table command. Then next command type is data control language. Data control language is used to give access to the user, or it is used to take back all the accesses from the user. Okay, so by using grant command, you can give any privilege. Privilege is nothing but a access on a database. Privilege is nothing but a permission to access database. So by using grant command, you can give permissions to the user so that users can access database, user can perform various operations on the database. With grant command, you can specify which operation a user can perform with the database. Then next is revoke command. Revoke command is used to take back permissions from the user. Means suppose if you have given certain privileges, if you have given some permissions to any user, and now if you don't want those permissions for that particular user, then you can take back all those permissions from the user by using revoke command. Okay. Now next type of language category is transaction control language, that is TCL. As name suggests, it is used to control the transaction. Means it is used to execute changes done by data manipulation language commands. Under this category, we have two commands, commit and rollback. Commit command is used to save the transaction on the database, and rollback command is used to restore the database to the original state. Okay, commit means suppose one database is there and you have executed number of commands on that database. Then whatever changes that are done by all those commands, If you want to save those changes permanently, then you use commit command. Commit command is used to save all the changes permanently on a database system. And rollback is used to undo all those changes. If you don't want those changes on your database system, then you can simply roll back the transaction. So these are the types of database languages and the commands under all those language categories. Now let's see some examples of data definition language commands. Means how DDL commands can be executed. In database language, commands are called as queries. So here we have one student table. In that student table we have 3 attributes: roll number, name and percentage. And 4 rows are there. Means data for 4 students is stored in a table. So first we will see create command. Means how to create this structure. So command is create table student. So create table is a command, and student is what? It is the name of table. So you write down create table, then table name, that is student, and in bracket enlist all the attributes that you want for that particular table. Now here I want 3 attributes. So I can simply write roll number, then write down roll number is the name of my attribute, and then integer. Integer is the data type of that attribute. Then sname. Sname is the name of attribute, and varchar is the data type of attribute. And 10 is the size. Remember, whenever you declare integer type of attribute, then there is no need to specify the size of attribute. It will take a default size. But when you want to store character type of data, then you need to specify the size of that particular attribute. Okay. For example, here I have written sname means student name is of character type, and the size of that student name is 10. Means it can store up to 10 characters. So this is the syntax of command. Then my third attribute is percentage. Percentage is again integer type of data. So there is no need to specify the size. And here I have written one optional keyword, not null. Not null means the value for percentage attribute cannot be set as a null. Means whenever you insert data, whenever you will insert data into a student table, you always need to insert value for percentage. It cannot be kept as a null. Okay, so this is how we can create table. Then second one, alter command. Now as we know, by using alter table command, we can add column, we can delete column, or we can modify column from the database. Okay, so here I have written one command, alter table student. Alter table is the command name and student is the table name. See, while executing any command on a table, you need to specify table name. It is mandatory. Okay, so alter table student, add is the attribute, add is a clause which is used to add new attribute into a table. So add clause is written here, and I want to add a new attribute, that is age. So I have written my attribute name age, which is again integer type, so there is no need to specify the size. And next I have written after sname. Now after is a optional keyword, means after is used to specify after which attribute you want to insert this particular new attribute. Okay, here I have written after sname. It means that when your SQL will execute this command, it will create a new attribute age, and that new attribute will get inserted after sname. Okay, if you omit this after sname, then your new attribute will automatically get inserted at the end of table, that is after percentage. Okay, so this after is optional. Then third command is again alter table, but to drop column or to delete column. So here I have written alter table student, drop column age. Okay, means I want to I want to delete that age column. So I have written clause drop column. Okay, so by drop column we can delete the column. The next is alter table student, modify sname varchar 20. Okay, so by using modify, you can modify the attribute. Means here, as you can see, while creating student table for sname attribute, the size mentioned was 10. But now I want to increase that size. So I have modified that column by using alter table command. Alter table student, modify sname, that attribute name, write down the attribute name that you want to modify, then varchar, it is a data type, and then 20. Now you can see my previous size, means the previous size of that particular attribute was 10 and the current size of particular that sname attribute is 20. Okay, so this is how you can modify the existing column from the database by using alter table command. Then next command is drop table student. Drop table is used to drop the structure of table. It means that when you execute this drop table command, it will delete table from the memory. It will delete all rows as well as it will delete structure of table. Okay. Now next is truncate table student. Student is my table name. Okay. So when I execute this command truncate table student, it will delete all rows from the table, but it will keep table structure as it is into the memory. It will not delete the structure of table. Okay. Now next is alter table student, rename to stud. By using alter table command, you can also rename database or you can also rename your table. Rename means to assign new name to the old table. So here the syntax or here the example is alter table student, rename to stud. When you execute this command, it will give a new name, that is stud, to the existing table, that is student. Means by using this command, I am going to rename this student table by stud. Okay. And the last command is rename table, student to stud. It means that it is also used to rename student table to stud. Means when you execute this rename table command, your new name of your table will be stud. So if you want to rename your table, you have two options. You can either use alter table command or you can use rename table command directly. Okay. So this is all about today's chapter or today's session. In this session, we have seen the SQL language, the features of SQL language, data types of SQL language, then categories of database languages, DDL, DML, DCL and TCL, and the sub-commands of all those languages, with the which commands falls under which category. We have seen all that, and these are some of the examples of DDL language. In next lecture, we'll see the examples of DML, DCL and TCL. Okay, so bye and take care.